So let's talk about the 5 things that will help you succeed in the gym. Now make sure you watch all the way to the end because all of them are interlinked. So hello, my name's Bobby and my goal is to simplify the world of fitness and give you a better understanding when it comes to your training and your nutrition. So ultimately the most important thing is adherence, and that is going to be different from person to person. We're all individuals, we all have different tolerances, so it really matters what works for you. There is no one size fits all, but it ultimately comes down to trial and error and finding your way to stick into a diet. Number 1 for me is sort your diet out. You cannot keep going to the gym expecting to see results and your diet is completely off. You need to get your diet on point. Now I've got a video linked in the description below that tells you how to calculate your calories and your macros, but none of those numbers that you see online are set in stone. You are going to have to experiment with this and weigh yourself. And as horrible as it sounds, because a lot of people are scared of standing on the scales because that's usually why they start their journey, getting your calories right will count for 50% of the success of your diet. So you can eat whatever you want in terms of macros if your goal is just to lose weight, but getting your calories right will help you lose weight successfully. Now, point number 2 is something that took me a long time to get my head around because I just wasn't accepting the fact that I needed to get my NEAT up and get my steps in. I thought, you know what, I'm going to get my calories right and I'm going to go off one of those calculators online and that's going to help me lose weight. And unfortunately, it didn't. The simplest way for me was to try and get my steps in. And I was aiming for about 10,000 steps a day, and that was accounting to about 400 to 500 calories because for me, it was just really difficult to sacrifice food. I generally have a very active day anyway, I'm being a PT, but it was just really hard to try and drop my calories to say 22 or 2100, which for me at the time would have been the right amount to lose weight. Getting my NEAT up allowed me to keep my calories a little bit higher, but it still allowed me to be in a bigger deficit because obviously I was losing weight through doing my 10,000 steps. And I do have a video explaining sort of the things that I've discovered doing 10,000 steps every day, so go and watch that. It's linked in the description as well. 10,000 steps is just an arbitrary number and you don't have to do that if your goal is not to lose weight. But as I said, most people who are sort of trying to get into fitness, they generally focus on wanting to lose a little bit of body fat and, you know, gain a little bit of muscle or just drop a little bit of weight and so on. It is very rare that people go and look at themselves and go, do you know what, I need to go into a massive bulk. Yes, obviously there are some use cases where people are generally very active and they're just naturally very skinny because they just have a high NEAT output anyway, but most people are trying to lose weight and getting your steps in is the best way to keep your food relatively high and happy, but you are still losing body fat. Now, point number 3 is stick to a program. Please stick to a program. Having a bad plan is still better than having no plan whatsoever. So go online, go and download the next best program, whatever suits your outcome. So if you can only train 3 days a week, then go and download a 3-day-a-week program. I do have one linked in the description. It's completely free. It's a beginner-friendly plan, and it just focuses on machines if you're just trying to, you know, get comfortable in the gym and gain a little bit of confidence. But ultimately, the most important thing is stick to a program, stick to a plan. Focus on 6 weeks, focus on 8 weeks, some blocks like this. Don't go crazy. Don't think this needs to be some 6-month thing. Adjust after 6 weeks. Go and follow a plan. See how you get on. See how your body responds. See how you enjoy it and then move on. Unfortunately, social media makes us believe that doing what the influencers do online, that's what's going to get you results. And unfortunately, it won't. It'll get you clicks. It won't get you results. The best people out there do the same thing over and over and over, and they make minor adjustment. Watch some of the best people out there. George Osborne's great at that. Kuba is very good at that as well. He posts a lot of really good stuff online. Go and watch some of those guys and see how they train, and then try and incorporate that into your training. I know I mentioned at the beginning, all the points are interlinked, and this next one, point number 4, is massive. Sleep and recovery. Do not underestimate sleep and recovery. Yes, you'll get away with poor sleep and poor recovery at the beginning because you're going to see muscle growth if you've never trained properly and your body's really going to adapt to sort of lifting weights nicely. But after a period, after a training plan of 6 to 8 weeks, probably even longer, you are all of a sudden going to start seeing the results slow down a little bit. And if you don't focus on your sleep and you don't focus on your recovery, you are just going to eventually run out of being able to build muscle. So make sure you sleep adequately, 7 to 8 to 9 hours a night easily. Recover properly. Take days off. Really can't emphasize this enough. Make sure you have a day off. I tend to train Monday, Tuesday, Wednesday, off on Thursday, Friday, Saturday. That's my usual week. I've got a couple of recovery days, and I also structure my days in so I have enough time between, say, chest days or back days. So make sure you really look after yourself. Eat the right foods, get your calories right, get your macros right, keep your protein high. That's usually something that people neglect as well. So make sure you get all those things nailed on and you will see massive, massive results. But what I want to know from you guys is, what do you struggle with when it comes to your training? Is it your sleep? Is it your recovery? I'm happy to help. I could make a video about some of the comments if you leave it below, what you're struggling with, and I'll give you my thoughts and sort of how you can improve that. But the final point I want to make, and again, as I said, they're all interlinked, is make sure you are patient. Take this thing that you're trying to do in stages, break it down into 6 weeks block. I generally recommend with my clients, have a 6-week plan, stick to it, stick to your food, have a little breather for 2 weeks. And I'm not saying to stop completely eating properly and, you know, going off your sleep and so on, but just have a little bit of a maintenance calories for 2 weeks, just to give yourself a bit of a psychological break for a couple of weeks. Take training a little bit less as well for a week or so, just to recover again, and then go again for 6 weeks. Take it in stages. This isn't something that you have to do for 6 to 12 months, continuously the same thing. It gets boring, it gets mundane. 6 weeks, have a little break. Again for 6 weeks, have a little break. And then when you're happy with where you're at, just maintain. You don't have to count calories forever. You don't have to follow the same training plan forever, but just stick to something for 6 weeks, but be patient. Don't expect to see results that you see on social media overnight. It's not gonna happen. These people on social media, the way they look, it's taken them years of trial and error, making mistakes, training hard, going through those exact same stages. So don't make the mistakes they've made. So I hope you've enjoyed this little guide. It's very short, it's very simple, it's very to the point, but I just wanted to give you some general pointers. Get yourself educated, watch some of the best people online, and experiment for yourself. Have some fun in the gym, experiment with some of the different machines, go and watch TikTok. Honestly, TikTok, some of the people are really, really good on there, and they give you real good bite-sized information that you can potentially follow. I've learned so much from TikTok and implemented into my own training plan, and it's helped me massively develop certain parts of my body that I used to struggle with. But other than that, thank you very much for watching. Oh, and if you're interested in a 3-day training plan that I touched on earlier, go and watch this video over here, and I go through a simple 3-day training plan. So yeah, thanks very much, and I'll catch you in the next one.